Dun, da, da, da. Hello, everyone. My name is Carl, and I play games. You guys know the drill. I play games that I hold very dear to my heart, all the while just letting myself talk because I find this very therapeutic, and I'm at a stage in my life where uh, if I can get something that's, if I can engage in an activity that is both therapeutic and creative, it's pretty cool and it's super useful. So here I am playing Contra 3. And let's see what comes out of my consciousness while I play this game. Um, I guess the story that perhaps the event that I'm most eager to talk about right now is the fact that it was my 25th birthday this week. And it was a pretty big deal for a variety of reasons. One of them being that it's the first time that I get to spend my birthday at my hometown of Tegucigalpa, Honduras, in literally 6 years. I went to college in Massachusetts, and I started in the fall of 2012. And because my birthday is in late March, I was always in the middle of the spring semester when March 28th came around, and so I always had to be around school. I never took time off to come back home for my birthday or anything. So yeah, this is the first time that I get to spend my birthday at home with everyone that I hold dear, who's been here all this time. So that was interesting, and it was both a happy and melancholy thing for me, right? Because on the one hand, goddamn, I miss Worcester, I miss Massachusetts. That place felt like home to me, especially after everything that I experienced through 2018. Uh, and so, so it was huge. It's a huge deal for a variety of reasons, right? It's the first time that I get to be home. Uh, I don't really know where I'm going with this, but I guess what I want to say is it was such a huge deal for me that, well, I guess I have to tell you that I recently just started working. This week was, I guess, my fourth week. Wow, this week it just ended was my fourth week at my new job, and so that was a huge thing, right? And so I woke up. My parents they've always had this tradition of waking up early whenever it was my birthday or my brother's birthday or even one of my parents' birthday. They would always wake up early in the morning. I'm talking about like 5:15 in the morning and they would blast this song called Las Mañanitas, which, if you are not familiar with it, it's traditionally a song that is dedicated to people on their birthdays in Latin American countries. Uh, and so I woke up, I took a shower. I work at a high school, and so my arrival time is 6:45. So I have to wake up pretty early to be ready and drive all the way there and whatnot. So I had already taken a shower. I was in the middle of getting dressed when I hear my parents' door open up, and I start hearing the song. I start hearing Las Mañanitas, and then they just start singing as they walk towards my room, which is the most adorable thing in the world. And it was already so nostalgic because it hadn't really, fuck, that was a stupid way to die, and I lost a good weapon. Anyway, it was so nostalgic to me because I hadn't quite experienced that in so long, and it was such a huge tradition for 18 years of my life, so it was very emotional. They came, greeted me, they came and wished me happy birthday. We hugged and everything. And yeah, it was very emotional. And so, I finished getting ready, had some breakfast, and damn, the guy died really quickly. And yeah, I chatted with my parents for a little bit while I was getting ready and while they had lunch and whatever. But I had to take off, right? I had to go to work. And so I got in the car and I started playing Ninja's Sex Party's album, the most recent one called Cool Patrol. I'm a big fan of Game Grumps, for those of you who don't know. And I like everything that they do, pretty much. So I had heard Danny Don't You Know pretty recently, and that song really resonates with me. I love the fact that he uses the name Danny, right? Because, shit, I don't know if I should say this, but that's my real name, right? Carl is just my internet persona, if you will, that I'm trying to, the internet persona that I'm adopting for this, I guess, series of Let's Play or whatever you want to call this, whatever it is that I do here with this channel, with this content. So the fact that it's Danny Doesn't Know, right, it just really resonates with me. Everything it says is just, you know, the song is full of maybe rude humor, if you will. You know, there's a lot of coarse language. But I don't know. It's very heartfelt, right? It's very heartfelt, and so that was kind of my anthem throughout this week, right? I've been very bluesy this week. I'm usually pretty bluesy around the time of my birthday, and I don't know why, but I usually am. I don't know. I guess it's thinking about how I'm 1 year older officially, and I start thinking about how my life has changed since the previous year, since my previous birthday. I don't know, right? And so, yeah, that song has just helped me deal with all these thoughts. And so that's what, like, maybe like the third song in the album. And when it started playing, there's this line that says, everybody knows the best bananas will be ripe with time. And this, whatever, right? It can be, you can think about it as like the most cliche verse ever. You can say like, yeah, like everyone knows that. But to me, where I am in life, you know, having had to come back to Honduras after spending 6 years in Massachusetts, you know, the state that I love, a state that I've always envisioned myself settling down in ever since like 2010. I've envisioned myself living in Massachusetts. And I felt like I was close to getting there throughout 2018, right? So having had to come back to Honduras and having only been here for 5 months or however long it's been since October, I felt kind of directionless more, you know, in more than one occasion. So that line that everybody knows the best bananas will be ripe with time, just, and I'm choking up just thinking about it right now. Like there's a little bit of tears in my eyes right now just talking about this on this microphone. I don't know, it just gives me hope, right? It makes me feel like, hey, like I'm here. Maybe this is just a transition. Maybe this is not the end of the game for me, you know, being here in Tegucigalpa, Honduras, living here at my parents' house again and working at my old high school and whatnot. This is not the end of the line, right? The best bananas will be ripe with time. I just need some time to figure out what I want to do and what I need to do to accomplish that, right? So that line, it literally broke me down in the car while I was driving. I was ugly crying. I had to wipe my eyes off. I kept having to dig into my eye because I was wearing my sunglasses. It was a very sunny morning, and so I had to like fuck me. Whatever. Okay, I think I'll be fine. I didn't really need the. Okay, that'll be tricky to. The next section with only this weapon, it'll get tricky. You'll see why. So yeah, I don't remember where I was, but the best bananas will be ripe with time. That verse really got to me. I was crying. I had to wipe my eyes from underneath, you know, my sunglasses. I don't know if underneath is the right preposition to use there. But yeah, I had to dig under my sunglasses to wipe my eyes off because I was bawling, right? Tears and tears and tears, and I was ugly crying. And I was driving, so I had to make sure that my tears were not going to interfere with my visibility, right? And I was like halfway. I was halfway to work, right? I was like, yeah, I was halfway. Yeah, and then I just arrived at work. I found a parking spot, and I just sat there for a minute, and I cried a lot. You know, I cried a lot because this is where only having this weapon gets tricky because there's going to be enemies at the left side of the screen that I can't quite reach. So I guess I'll just have to avoid their stupid bullets. Oh, look at that, I reached that one. But avoiding these bullets can get tricky. Okay, that wasn't that bad. Um, yeah, I found a parking space, and I had arrived, I don't know, maybe like 20 minutes before I had to. So I took advantage and I just stayed in my car for a good 5 or 10 minutes. I don't even know how long. I just cried my eyes out. I was thinking about so many. Fuck me, I'm distracted. I was thinking about a lot of things, right? I was thinking mostly how different. Fuck. I was thinking mostly how different my birthday was last year. How different my life is. How different my life was. How different my life is right now than it was as early as 5 months ago, right? 5 months ago, I was still in Massachusetts, surrounded by perhaps my best friends in the whole wide world. The best friends that I'd made that had been with me through thick and thin throughout the hardships that I experienced all through 2018. I still had my girlfriend, my ex-girlfriend, I guess, if you will. And just, I was in the state, in a city that I loved, and not only that, not only thinking about how different my life is right now, but I remember my last birthday so fucking clearly. It seems like it was just a few months ago, and it really wasn't. It's been a whole year. And so I was just emotional. About all of that, and I broke down. I cried a lot in my car. I figured I had to calm down right before going into my office, so I just stayed there for a couple minutes after I stopped crying to wipe my eyes, whatever, catch my breath. Things got better, man, throughout the day. Like, they weren't bad, right? It wasn't sad, I don't think. I was mostly just overwhelmed because I'm a very nostalgic guy, and the passage of time is something that's always given me some sort of anxiety, especially now that, like, I'm back home and I don't really know what I want to do. I know what I want to do. I know that I want to go back to Massachusetts. I just don't really know how to get there, So yeah, things got. I guess I was less emotional throughout the day, if you will, right? And the day was good. It was busy at work because it always is, right? It always busy. Oh, fuck me. Sorry about that. It's always busy at work. I'm a lot better at this game when I'm not distracted, having to tell stories. I promise. But yeah, I was in my office, and one of my colleagues, who is one of my lifelong, maybe not lifelong, right? Because I only met her since I was in the 11th grade, but ever since, she's been such a mentor for me, and she's a dear friend to me, whatever the right preposition is. She arrived at work and she brought me a little pastry from one of the most popular coffee houses here in Tegucigalpa, which was, super, super nice, and I really appreciated it. And it was that just kind of marked the beginning of what would be, a really good day. I've only been working at the school for like a month, permanently, right? I've been called in to substitute ever since I arrived. It was like in November. I had been called in to substitute, so I had the chance to meet a lot of the students while I was substituting. But I've only been permanent full time for like a week, right? And so it's not a lot of time. And even when I was a substitute, I wasn't going there like every day, right? I was maybe going once or twice every other week or something like that. So the fact that some of the students, whatever. Some of the students seem to have taken a liking to me, though, which I really, really appreciated, considering that it's been such a short amount of time. A lot of the students were stopping in my office to wish me happy birthday. I guess someone wrote in the teacher's lounge that it was my birthday today, so even teachers throughout the day, they kept stopping in my office to wish me happy birthday, give me a hug. Uh, Again, I don't know if I mentioned this, but the high school that I work is the high school that I actually graduated from. So, whatever. So I know most of these teachers, right? A lot of the teachers that are still there have been there since I was in high school. Uh, so there's a good relationship, right? I used to be a good student when I was in high school, so we have a good relationship. One of them even brought me a cupcake, which was super nice, right? So yeah, it's just not that the day started bad by any means, right? I was just emotional, and that led to a lot of crying. I want to say it's healthy crying. It definitely felt like it was healthy crying, but it was crying nonetheless. Where it was a lot of feelings that I was dealing with. It was definitely overwhelming. But at least throughout the day, enough people made my heart warm to not feel as overwhelmed anymore, and instead just be happy. And instead just feel happy. Beyond the people at work, family and friends were messaging me and calling me all throughout the day, which was super nice too. It made me. They all put smiles on my faces. The fact that they all took time out of their day to send me a tiny little message, that means the world to me. Even if it's just a tiny little message, the fact that they went out of their way to type it and that they remembered that it was my birthday and whatever, it just means a lot to me. So yeah, it was a busy day at school, and I was talking to people pretty much all day, so I didn't feel quite as overwhelmed anymore. Instead, I just felt like my heart was warm, right, and I was happy. Yeah. And then I came back home. I rested, man, because I was tired. Being emotional in the morning really just made me tired through the day. And so I rested for a while before we went to supper with my parents and my brother and his wife and his nieces and his mother-in-law. We went to what's always been shit. Wait, my shoulder button isn't working. Why isn't my shoulder button working? My right shoulder button. Okay, there it is. It's kind of stiff. What the heck's going on? It's so stiff, man. Whatever. My right shoulder button is so stiff, and I hate it because I kind of need it for this stage to turn around. But yeah, we went to supper at this restaurant, which has always been my favorite restaurant in town. This is killing me. I may lose all my lives in this stage just because my stupid shoulder button isn't working properly. We went to Tony's Mar, which has always been my favorite restaurant here. I've always loved seafood, and I think their fried shrimp are the fucking bomb. So we went there. My cousin Juan Diego, which is, one of my closest cousins here in town. We've hung out ever since we were little. We used to go to each other's houses and play video games and whatever. He was also there. We called him so he could join us. And it was nice. It was your typical birthday. Good food, good company. There was a cake. They sang happy birthday. And yeah, it's pretty much all I could ask for. I don't feel as bluesy anymore as I did at the beginning of the week or my morning of my birthday, which is Thursday morning. But yeah, I still have a stage left before I finish the game. However, I do only have one life, so I don't know. I guess I'm gonna keep playing until I lose the 2 lives that I have. I don't know what else I can tell you, and I don't know if my storytelling's been very compelling. I know I've stuttered a lot. This is just something that I've started doing this week, pretty much, playing games and talking into a microphone. So yeah, that was my birthday, man. I'm 25 years old now. It's a quarter century, which is a big deal, I think. I like to think it's a big deal. It's odd, right? Because I still don't quite. I like my job, because I do. It's comfortable. It's a good opportunity. It's something that'll look great on my resume. I think my school has a pretty good reputation. Fuck me. That's the most ridiculous way to fucking die. And now I lost both my weapons and I only have them on my last life. My school has a pretty good reputation, so it'll look good on my resume. However, as comfortable as it is, and as good as things have been looking for me over the last couple of months, considering how miserable the first few months since I've been back were with the transition and everything, I still can help. It still just feels temporary, right? It feels like a temporary thing. I guess I just have to find out what I want to do and how to actually do that. You know, I know that I want to move back to Massachusetts. I just have to figure out what ways there are for me to do that. I want to be there sooner rather than later. I really love it there, man. I love being able to experience the cycle of the seasons. You know, I don't like the cold itself. I just like the seasons, man. I like the cycle. There's always something to look forward to. You know, even though the winter is cold, there's always some excitement for like the first snow day. You know, the first day of the year where people go out and play in the snow. There's always excitement for that. And then for the summer, you know, in the spring when the temperatures start to when the temperatures start to rise and people can stop wearing those heavy coats and they can just like hang out in the grass again. There's always a lot of excitement towards that, and you know, I don't know. I love those things, right? So I'm 25 now, and yeah, I want to be back in Massachusetts as soon as I can. And I'm playing Contra, and I'm talking to you guys. I don't know how many of you are gonna actually listen to this let's play podcast, whatever the hell you want to call this, but I'm definitely glad I'm doing this. I don't know, I guess it will help me. Fuck, I lost whatever. I promise you I'm usually able to finish this game with one continue. That was like the second to last boss. I was really close. And I was talking to you guys, so I hope you can get an idea that I do have skills in the game, right? So yeah, I hope you find this story somewhat compelling enough. If not, then I hope you like Contra, or I hope that you at least enjoy the sound of my voice, so that you could, just listen. I don't know. I hope I entertained you, I guess is what I'm saying, or helped you carry on with your day in any way. I guess that's the objective here. So yeah, my name is Carl, and thank you guys for watching.